Bungie's getting sued. I heard a little bit about this, but I completely forgot what's going on with Bungie. They're getting sued for like copyright infringement or something from like some artist. And it seems like they're failing that hard. And they also got Marathon coming out soon. Bungie just can't catch a W. I don't see how this company survives going into the future. I don't think they need to. Garbage company.
Bungie is engaged in a lawsuit right now that I find extremely interesting, and I tickled it a little bit last night on stream, but I want to get into the actual spaghetti and meatballs today. Now, obviously, this isn't Bungie's first rodeo with lawsuits. They've been involved in a couple high-profile ones I'm sure a lot of you have heard of, but I wouldn't necessarily call them seasoned veterans, that this is just, business as usual. Not like Nintendo, who has more lawsuits than Elon Musk does children.
Mostly because they started them.
Bungie has few and far between lawsuits, but most of you hear about them, such as like their big one not long ago where they actually had a huge victory over cheat makers, which I think was great. Their current battle, though, has got them fucking stun-locked here. They are being sued by a writer who claims that Destiny stole his story for their campaign for Red War and Curse of Osiris. And Bungie is having a very difficult time defending themselves here. They can't actually produce the content to prove that they didn't steal from him. Thus, the lawsuit is still ongoing, and they're kind of getting...
What does that mean, vaulted? Like, you put it away, nobody can access it? Why? Why'd you do that? That sounds ridiculous and stupid.
Getting embarrassed because of one simple thing that they have become so accustomed to doing. It's become like a fucking addiction. Sunsetting content. If you've played Destiny, you're familiar with this, and it's not just Destiny, other...
Oh, they deleted it? Is that what happened? They deleted it out of the game, and then they put it away, and they can't access it? No. They can access it, they just won't. What is happening? I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to keep watching.
Games also take content out of the game over time, but Destiny takes entire paid things that you bought with your own clams, will take it out of the game and vault it. Now we're going to do like a full dive in here, like an actual colonoscopy on this case with everything we know right now, but I just want to give you the gist here. One of the things they vaulted is the entirety of the campaign for Destiny 2 when you first bought the game.
Wow. So you can't even play the original game. It's gone. They Overwatch 2'd it. What does vaulted mean? Why can't you access it after it's been vaulted? This sounds like they just deleted it and don't have the information anymore.
Red War. I have bitched about that for the longest time now, that the campaign you bought when this game came out is no longer in the game at all and is completely inaccessible to the players. I think that is an unbelievably ridiculous concept, but I'm not going to just rant and rave about that like a lunatic again. But the community had always been under the impression that when content like Red War is vaulted, Bungie themselves can still access it. Like, they haven't just, poofed it out of existence like some kind of fair...
It turns out that's exactly what they did. I don't think video game companies should be able to get away with stuff like this, where they actually delete stuff that you paid for as a consumer.
Fairy godparents took care of it. They haven't just erased it from the corporeal realm. But it turns out that is the case. Bungie has openly admitted they also can't access the content anymore in this lawsuit. They actually can't even get their paws on it either, thus they can't really defend their claims of innocence against the copyright claims.
You can open vaults. Vaults open, you know that, right? So what does that even mean that it got vaulted to the point where you can't access it? No, it got deleted. That's what I think happened. They just got rid of it. Took it back behind the shed and shot it.
It's a mess. Like, they actually have just banished it to the fucking shadow realm here. Anyway, the lawsuit was started by a writer named Matthew Kelsey Martineau, and he worked under the pseudonym Casper Cole, and he published a story on his blog that he claims was stolen by Bungie for the Red War and Curse of Osiris story elements. Most notably, Red Legion, he's saying, was taken directly from his writings. Other shared elements mentioned between Red War and the DLC Curse of Osiris are...
See, I don't think that they actually looked at this guy's writing and decided, hey, I'm gonna steal this. I think what they did was they asked an AI, and the AI took that guy's writing and fed it back to them. That's most likely what happened.
There are things like celestial object hovering over Earth, war beasts, and more. From what I can find, Casper Cole had this published on his WordPress in 2013, 2014-ish, and this lawsuit was filed last year. Guessing he's not a big first-person shooter fan, must have not played any Destiny until then. But I'm going to tell you, buckle up, sports fans, might be a hot take. There's nothing I see listed here that seems unique to Casper Cole's writing. A celestial object hovering over Earth.
Yeah, it's probably bullshit and completely generic because Destiny is completely generic. But if they can't provide the evidence that they didn't steal it, then they're gonna lose.
Flamethrowers being used and emergency failsafes, like, come on, that's all pretty generic sci-fi shit. That's like getting mad that another shooter also has bullets in the game. To me, that seems completely like a non-issue. That doesn't scream, copyright infringement, plagiarism. Now, if you want to talk about the names like War Beasts and Red Legion being exactly the same, I still think that's a moot point because those aren't really unique names either.
Yeah, I think they got that from an AI. 100%. Like the early iterations of AI in like 2012, 2014. Believe it or not, we had AI back then. Nobody knew about it. And it was garbage, but people used it. Companies used it.
Especially considering Destiny, the name of everything in that game is basically just like a title or like a caveman naming it. The Traveler, the Witness, the Left Shoe, the Accountant, the Bath Master, War Bath, Bath War. Like, that's kind of just the whole naming scheme of that game. So Red Legion and War Beast, that doesn't scream that they stole something from this guy. There is nothing that I've seen listed in this lawsuit that makes me actually think Bungie stole from this guy's fucking WordPress in 2013, 2014 to make the Destiny storyline. But the timing of this lawsuit could not be better for Casper Cole because Bungie themselves can't combat it. They are unable to produce the content that they are being accused of stealing because they don't have access to it themselves. Bungie archived the original code that comprised the Red War and Curse of Osiris campaigns known as legacy builds, according to Tyson Green. However, the Red War and Curse of Osiris legacy builds can no longer run because their outdated code is incompatible with Destiny 2's underlying operational framework, which has evolved considerably since the Red War and Curse of Osiris campaigns were retired. As a result, Bungie cannot feasibly provide the court with the original Destiny 2 game as it existed in 2017, including the accused Red War and Curse of Osiris campaigns in any operable or reviewable form, nor will Bungie be able to produce the accused campaigns in operable or reviewable form if this matter proceeds to formal discovery. So after they put them on the bench, took them out behind the barn and put them down, they no longer can get them back because they've updated the game too much. So they can't actually get the game again. So when
it's not really that they upgraded the game too much. It's that they axed their original code too much.
They made a motion to dismiss this case. They were basically showing up with their pants down. They had nothing to show. So what they relied on was YouTube videos. But not just YouTube videos, wiki pages as well. Bungie insisted the attached videos are the best possible way for the court to review the accused work. Exhibit B was a 10-hour lore video put together by a YouTuber named My Name is Biff. Banger video, by the way. Exhibit C was a cutscene compilation, again put together by a fan, which is 2 hours and 40 minutes long. But the judge, Susie Morgan, she wasn't playing ball with it. She was not pleased with this maneuver, and it was not sufficient. So she denied this motion to dismiss.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh Bungie. Oh Bungie, your own incompetence is going to be your downfall.
The court will not consider the exhibits attached to defendant's motion to dismiss and will not convert the defendant's motion to dismiss to a motion for summary judgment. There has not been sufficient time for discovery, and the attachments are admittedly of third-party origination. Their authenticity has not been established. Basically, Bungie brought piss to a shit fight here, and the judge was not having it. She said, I'm not watching these video essays. You scram with this. Wipe it in your ass and get out of the court with this. Thus, the lawsuit is proceeding. The case is going forward. And I really don't know what Bungie is going to do. They are adamant that it can't be restored, which is pretty mind-boggling to me. I don't know how they wouldn't have like backups of previous builds of the engine or something just for a case like this, to be honest. where you need an older build of the engine or the framework, so that way you could restore these things should you ever want to down the line, especially with things like remasters and remakes being so commonplace. It just makes sense to me that you would still have something like that. But I'm just a fucking idiot with a tiny little reptile brain, so maybe I'm on the crack pipe with that take. But what I think I'm 100% in the right on here is that it is ridiculous to be vaulting content in the first place if there is no means ever of getting it back. That is paid content.
They don't care. They really don't. Like, just look at the Crew. They shut down that game completely. They really don't care. All they're thinking about is money right now. They're not actually thinking about the future. And when they are thinking about the future, it's like in Ubisoft's case where they've got 9 Assassin's Creed games coming out in the next 6 years if none of them get delayed.
People paid for that. I paid for that when it came out. And I haven't been able to play it for 5 years and will likely never be able to play it again. Same with everybody else on the fucking planet, it seems. I don't really know what the next move is for Bungie. Maybe they'll start submitting goddamn Let's Plays to the courts or something. Like, here, check this out. Look how much fun they're having. No mention of Casper Cole anywhere. That no one's picking up on the similarities. Check it out. Like, I don't know. They're going to have to find a way to actually get the campaign back. But, again, I'm not a lawyer either. I feel like Casper Cole's team would probably then make a case that it's been altered. I'm not trying to go like full anime protagonist here.
Yeah, they completely fucked themselves in this situation, and I love it. I love it. Their idiocy, their retardation has come back around to bite them in the ass. Their disgusting money-making habits where they delete their old content and make new content so they can generate more and more money and completely forgot about yesterday. We gotta make money for tomorrow. Today. Delete everything. Make everything new. Everything clean. Except they didn't make it clean. They were just going as fast as possible to make as much money as possible with as little effort as possible. For right now. Not for the future. They can't look that far ahead.
Like it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Season 2. Next you're gonna say it's been altered. But I feel like that'd be the natural evolution of the argument here in this case. Because if Bungie somehow does produce a reviewable and operable Red War or Curse of Osiris,
it would have to be a rebuild. They'd have to completely rebuild it from the ground up, exactly how it was. And they can't. They won't be able to do that. They'll only be able to make their rendition of it, their current rendition of it.
Campaign to present to the courts. Who's to say they haven't just taken out the offending material of the lawsuit that it points out, right? Like, they've already said they cannot do it. So if somehow they're able to miraculously do it, would that not raise eyebrows about like, well, can we trust this? It's fucking fascinating. It's a
Somebody, good idea. Somebody should do this to the Crew. Somebody should say that they stepped all over their copyright rights and ripped them off in their game, and then tell them to produce it, and they won't be able to because they fucking deleted it.
real brain buster here with the pickle that Bungie finds themselves in. So the YouTube links and everything weren't even considered here because in the initial filing, well, Martineau, I don't exactly know how to say his last name, I'll be honest. That's why I've been calling him Casper Cole. Casper Cole never made any mention of like YouTube or wiki links, so they didn't even consider it. It was deemed like off limits, kind of, I guess. And then Judge Morgan also pointed out that the case is actually pretty complicated, even when Bungie cited previous rulings, saying this case would require a much more complicated side-by-side analysis even if the court had access to a complete version of Destiny 2. She also noted how the game and the written work aren't even in the same format. Rather than compare a brief movie scene and a copyright for a pinball machine, it appears the defendant is asking the court to compare a collection of short writings to 13 plus hours of third-party originated YouTube videos of Destiny 2 and several third-party originated online Destinypedia pages.
Yeah, it seems like dude's got original content to show and Bungie does not.
Now, if you've got your thinking caps on, to me, there seems to be like a really glaring thing that I haven't seen pointed out in any of the articles. How the fuck is Casper Cole making these arguments in the first place if there is no Red War or Curse of Osiris to compare to anymore anyway? Like, how is he able to reference these things? I'm assuming the only way he'd be able to make these comparisons, since, again, the Red War and Curse of Osiris don't actually exist in the game anymore, is he would be comparing it to YouTube videos and shit. That'd be the only way. While he might not have directly referenced them in the lawsuit, there is no possible way for him to even be making these comparisons in the first place without that. So it is in a weird spot to me because, again, there is nothing there for Red War or Curse of Osiris. They've already blinked it out. Like it's gone. So even Casper Cole, when making these arguments, is making them against a fucking ghost. There isn't a Red War or Curse of Osiris campaign that is playable and reviewable that he is making these comparisons to.
Two things are true in this. One, I think he's going to win. He might not win, though, but I think he's going to win. And two, that doesn't exist anymore, and they're not making money off of it anymore. They did make money off of it, so that's a problem. So if dude wins, they're going to have to do something about that. They're going to have to award this guy money. Probably a lot of it. Or they're going to have to settle or something. Both of those things are true. They don't have enough to prove against him. He might have just enough to prove against Destiny, though.
So it's a bit weird for sure. Now, at the end of the day, do I think Bungie stole his work, like copied his story beats for Destiny? Absolutely not. There is nothing I've seen listed here that screams plagiarism or anything like that. I also just highly doubt they would go to a random WordPress from 2013 and 2014 and start taking directly from it to make the Destiny campaign. That just seems so incredibly unlikely to me. But in Bungie's incompetence here when it comes to vaulting and sunsetting.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them to actually do that. I wouldn't put it past them to look up, like, what's a good story in a search engine in, like, 2012, 2014, whenever they did this. Whenever they had the plans for it originally. I don't know if it was just, like, off the cuff they made it, or if they had plans for it. I don't know. But I wouldn't put it past them to just find some random story online and just completely rip it off because it saves time and effort. And who's gonna know? Is this one guy gonna figure it out and sue us later down the road? Probably not. Well, here we are. He did.
They have really shot themselves in the foot. Anyway, I just had to talk about this a bit. It seems like a pretty complicated case. If this was going to be an easy slam dunk W for Bungie here, a little dubski in the court of law against the copyright claims, probably would have been thrown out on this first motion to dismiss.
I think this is going to set huge precedent in the future, especially for games like The Crew, where you just can't delete your old stuff. I think more companies doing stuff like that need to be sued by everybody. Everybody needs to file lawsuits. I think The Crew has like a bunch of people in California upset because of gift card laws and things like that. They're trying everything that they can, throwing everything at the wall, see what sticks, to get companies to stop doing these things. That's all I got for this video. Check out my description. I got stuff down there. You can buy t-shirts, whatever. You can donate to me. That'd be awesome. I'm out.